Hello everyone, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch the 6th episode of David Needs a Job. And this episode will focus on a particular rant that I have regarding employment assistance agencies that I'm supposed to go to in order to help me find a job in this age of austerity, jobless recovery. As mentioned on my blog at davidallengay.wordpress.com and my Google Plus videos, I don't particularly have a big fondness for these organizations. And the nutshell of why I don't particularly like these organizations is an issue of courtesy and respect, or lack thereof. I have dealt with 4 agencies over the last 3.5 years. I have dealt with Career Foundation. The second one I dealt with was St. Stephen's Community Center. The third one I dealt with One Voice, and the fourth one was called Skills for Change. So those 4 particular agencies I have dealt with, and a common theme that I've had with them is a lack of courtesy, a lack of respect for me as a person and as a job seeker. In the case of Career Foundation and One Voice and St. Stephen's Community Center, the reason why I left those organizations was a lack of response to my inquiries. Whenever I leave an email or dropped off a phone mail message at on their answering service, I would never get a phone call back. I would never get an email back. I would not get a reply back whatsoever. And you know, that's pretty galling to hear a wall of silence from someone that's supposed to help you. And I know what you're saying. There's so many people out of work, and there's so many hours in a day that you can do things before you go home. That's a fair statement, you know, and I understand that, but even a simple 10-second call just to say, okay, I got your message, I don't have the information right now, but I'm here for you. I'll call you back when I do have the information. Click, hang up. You want to know something? Technically, that did not give me the answer that I was looking for, but spiritually and emotionally, that meant the whole world to me. Because being a job seeker, it's a lonely process. You know, you kind of feel like the whole world is completely forgotten about you, and just something as simple as returning a phone call or answering an email and saying those words, I'm there for you, I don't have the answer, but I'm there for you, I'll get back to you. That means so much, and it gives you the fighting spirit to keep going on and keep soldiering on with your job search. And I never even got that reply back. As a matter of fact, the only time I even got a reply back is when I called or left an email to tell them to close my accounts. I'm moving on to something else. The second case that I want to bring up was an incident with Skills for Change. I went to Skills for Change, which is my 4th employment assistance agency, to open up a new file and to get some assistance on some services that I might be eligible for. So I sat down with this woman, and I had the form filled out for applications to certain services and a copy of my resume on a USB key. Now, the USB key was not very expensive, but it had some sentimental value to me. It was given to me as a going-away present by a co-worker who I really liked, who's sick now, who I've dealt with from the time that I was a computer operator and was still with me as a supportive co-worker when I was a computer programmer and system administrator. He gave me this key as a going-away present. It had the company logo on it and everything, and it meant so much to me. Anyways, I handed this USB key to the woman. She puts it into her computer, but her desk is surrounded by a lot of clutter. Books, files, paraphernalia, you know, about certain things. And she was having trouble getting her monitor adjusted because the angle of the light was making it hard for the information to read. And she had to twist and turn in her monitor, and it was stuck because it was wedged between this the stuff that she had in her desk. And she finally gave it one mighty twist, and yay! She hits my USB key in her computer, and she breaks the USB key in 2 pieces. One piece goes flying across her desk, and the other piece, which remained in her computer, was bent. I actually have a picture of my USB key on my blog, so if you have a free moment, Go to my blog and look for that particular blog post. It has the actual picture of the USB key there. It is actually bent like 10, 15 degrees. It's just a sight to see. Now, you know, at this point, she could have smoothed it over a pretty bad situation by saying, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do this. Can I make it up to you? Can I pay for your USB key? I would have probably said, no, you don't have to pay for my USB key, but at least you apologize. She didn't even apologize. She just simply took one of the broken pieces out of the USB port on her computer, looked at it, found the other broken piece, which was on her desk, and handed these two pieces back to me and simply said to me, and I kid you not, is this yours? Well, it is. It's not functional, but it is mine, yes. And that galled me. Like, you didn't even say, I'm sorry. You just simply handed the key broken as if nothing had happened at all. And, you know, that's, you know, you get, when you're on a job search, you get kicked, put down so many times, and that's just one more thing that I had to deal with on that day, and I was not in a very good mood to begin with. But the final point that I want to make with regards to this lack of courtesy and disrespect was with regards to non-standard handling of people's information, and the resume format is a perfect example of that. I haven't written a resume since the 1990s, and I did that on a WordPerfect program on my 286 or 386, I think it was. And I clearly felt that I needed a new resume format done because I knew there were some changes done over time that had to be put into my resume. So I took my resume into the first place, which was Career Foundation. They did my resume. It looked really nice, and I ran with that resume for as long as I stayed with Career Foundation. I used that resume to apply for jobs, sent that resume to places where there were possible openings on my own behalf. And I kept that resume with me right until I went to the second one, the second agency, which was not Skills for Change, but St. Stephen's Community Center. And I figured, okay, I have a standardized resume, so all you need to do is just put my resume on file for any possible openings or any workshops that I might be available for. The woman there, she looked at it, she goes, that's completely wrong. No wonder you can't find a job. I kid you not. This is a standardized resume that I got from the first place, and the second place that I'm now dealing with says it's completely wrong. Well, what was wrong? Why was it right in the first place, but now wrong in the second place? I said, well, I don't understand. This was done by a professional at an employment assistance center before I came to you guys. Well, it's still wrong. The one you can't find a job. We'll do it over free of charge. And sure enough, she did that. And you know, maybe it was wrong. Maybe the person that I dealt with in the first place was a complete idiot. He had no idea. So I ran with that particular resume for as long as I dealt with the St. Stephen's Community Center, until I broke ties with them and I went to One Voice, which is just up the street from me. And sure enough, as expected, this resume, which was done by the second place, was apparently wrong in the third place. So once again, this is the sort of thing that I'm talking about. Non-standardization of services. I don't even think these people have a clue as to what they're doing. I don't even think they understand that what needs to be done in order to find work, what a successful job search is. And I've got proof of that. Because after dealing with some of these people and some of these employees there, at all four of these places, I decided to do a lookup on LinkedIn. And the information that I found was absolutely shocking. One person that I dealt with was an executive for a Pan-Asian company. Very large, very successful. I won't mention the company name. But he was very successful. He held a very impressive rank in that organization, in that company. And you want to know something that's impressive? But it does not give you squat knowledge on how to deal with job seekers like me. That's a social service thing. The job that you had before was more of an executive financial thing. Those are worlds apart, and yet you're handling my file. Another person that I dealt with was an actor, a bit actor as a matter of fact, on a science fiction series called Andromeda. So the person was an entertainer and an actor. Another person who was a manager of a few bands and was a talent search agent. Okay, that's obviously something to do with people, but it's not, again, anything to do with job search. That was your background, but it has nothing to do with the current work that you're doing right now. And another person that I found was straight out of school. This person is actually handling client files mere months after graduating from the University of Toronto. Now, okay, you may have the education to do it, but you have to start somewhere. You can't just go straight into the thick of things and handle people's files, particularly something as sensitive as and as emotionally fragile as a job seeker's file. You have to learn a little bit of work experience before you actually get involved in that sort of thing. But this is exactly my issue with these employment assistance centers. Why I just don't like dealing with them, you know. But unfortunately, I have to deal with them to make it look like I'm still working with my job search, which is still ongoing to this day. So, anyways, that's my comment today about employment assistance centers, and I thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Again, I apologize for the racket. My landlord is drilling the heck out of my building. See the previous episode for information as to why that's happening. I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of David Needs a Job. Thanks again. Bye for now.